Welcome to Essential Ingredients. I'm your host, Justine Reichman. This afternoon today with me is Yonatan Golan, who is the co-founder with his two other brothers, because there's three of you, right? Yeah.
Right.
Of Brevel, which is a company out of Israel. He is, they named it after his grandfather's company, or two generations above him, which was another company that his family started, which was also Brevel. So I'm eager to learn a little bit more about you and about Brevel. So if you would be so kind to just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what Brevel is, we'd be so
great, thanks. Yes, I'm Yonatan. And in Brevel, we basically produce and provide protein, alternative protein, which is very much needed in the food industry today, which is greatly expanding into plant-based products in different categories. And especially, there's a need for a neutral, very mild source for protein in terms of flavor and color, to increase the nutritional profile of different products without changing the properties of flavor, flavor, color, texture, or cost. And the existing solutions at the moment are not suitable enough. For example, soy has very strong flavors. This is exactly what we're trying to solve in Brevel.
So oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm just curious to just start from the beginning and really understand, how long have you guys been working on this? When did you guys get this off?
Yes, we've actually been working on this for quite a while, for 5 years now. We started in 2017. The reason we've been working on it for so long is that maybe I'll go a step backwards about what exactly we're doing, how we're solving this challenge. So we're using microalgae, microscopic algae. These are microscopic organisms that grow exponentially fast and need very little resources. In terms of sustainability, they're just off the charts compared to any other protein source. But today, to produce microalgae protein efficiently and that tastes good is a very challenging problem. And this is not something that can just be brute forced in terms of scale to reduce costs or something like that. We had to develop a unique technological solution to produce microalgae protein very cost effectively and with flavor and color which are suitable for the food industry. And so we had to. So my younger brother Ido, he's actually the mind behind the technology. He's a mechanical engineer. He's this like genius mechanical engineer, and he actually worked as chief engineer in a different microalgae company, where he improved and scaled up their technology. But he understood that, the way he saw it is that the improving coal trains, no matter how fast to get a coal train running, it will still be slower than the most basic electrical train out there. And so we had to completely redesign the way microalgae are grown to solve this. And so we developed a really unique technology and managed to use it to produce the protein we have today. And we're already piloting with a variety of different companies. And we will actually be in product on shelves by the end of the year. So we're now finalizing contracts. We're building now the first factory in Israel to produce alternative protein for the industry. It will already be a commercial scale factory. And then looking to scale further.
So there's your genius brother, who is the mechanical engineer. What would he say you are in this trio?
So I came with the passion. So I'm vegan for the past decade and a bit. I came with a passion to solve. The three of us have a passion to make the world a better place. I was very focused on solving the nutritional side of this and providing a solution which is truly sustainable and truly nutritional. Many vegans basically eat vegan junk food, unfortunately. And today, plant-based cheese, for example, plant-based milk, have a very poor nutritional value. Like rice milk, oat milk, it's basically water and sugar, unfortunately. And I give it to my kids to eat with their cereal, but I would rather, I mean, if I had a solution, if I had an option which had a much higher protein content, a much higher nutritional profile, of course I would choose it over other options. If plant-based cheese is basically usually starch and oil, if it had any significant nutritional value, but of course I would prefer it. And I mean, for vegans it's easy, but for flexitarians and other, I mean, the average consumer, shifting to or mixing in their diet plant-based alternatives, which are also healthy, would be much easier. I mean, once we have these options, it would be much easier to shift. Of course, they have to be, I mean, first of all, they have to be tasty.
Taste,
And they have,
taste is king. It's most important.
yeah, taste is king. And it has to be affordable.
Yes.
I mean, you have all of these niche products, which are like, so you buy them once from out of curiosity, but then it's not sustainable economically. Yeah, so basically I came with this passion of solving this challenge.
So
and my older brother,
that was my next question. What about your other brother? What does he come to? Where is his place in this trio?
so he's a doctor. He's a medical doctor, and he also came from the health perspective. So the three of us joined, decided together. I mean, Ido, my younger brother, he had this idea that we can solve this with microalgae when we can have the right technology. I wanted to solve this from a moral and sustainable standpoint, and Matan from a health perspective. Then we joined and founded Brevel.
What was the inspiration for this specific idea? How did you guys come together to come up with this idea?
So among the different sources of nutrition, of protein and nutrition in general, microalgae are really off the charts compared to any other source. I mean, they need only a very small fraction of the land area needed to grow protein compared to soy, or of course to animals. I mean, that's obvious. I mean, with a single system of ours, just to put this in perspective, with a single system of ours, we can produce more protein. I'm sorry, I have the numbers in imperial. I have it in meters. I'm sorry about that. But with a single system of ours, we can produce more protein than 14,000 square meters of soy protein production.
Okay, well, we'll translate that so we can put it in the notes, so we can translate the meters to what that's equivalent to for the rest of the world to understand and interpret that. So for those listening to the podcast, stay tuned and make sure you check out our notes on the website so that you can know what that actually means if you can't interpret what meters are. So don't worry.
You should multiply by, I think, by 9 to get to square feet. So that would be like almost 100,000 square feet of soy protein production. That's
not insignificant.
No, I mean this is, I mean, in terms of land area,
that's huge.
Yeah, and compared to beef, it's just crazy. I mean, with a single system, we can produce more protein than 250,000 square meters, which quickly that would be like 2 million square feet roughly of beef production. Now this is the way the future of food. I mean, the future of food will be, it won't be feeds or like outdoor crops. Eventually, it will be very efficient indoor production systems. I mean, this is a bit of a long shot, but the way I like to think about it, once we colonize Mars, no one will grow their potatoes or wheat or corn. People will eat microalgae. In terms of resource efficiency, microalgae are really the only reasonable thing to grow in space or on Mars. And if the resource efficient enough to grow on Mars, actually microalgae were the first organism that managed to use external energy, to use sunlight, 2 billion years ago here on Earth, and the first organism that managed to grow efficiently with external energy from outside of thermal vents that were before that. And actually, microalgae produced all of the oxygen we have today in our atmosphere, and still today they produce 50% of the oxygen on a daily basis in the oxygen circle. So, I mean, these are the basics of our life here on Earth, and in terms of resource efficiency, they are way off the charts compared to any other. So now there are other good solutions out there. There are fungi and bacteria and yeast, other excellent solutions which are also now developing in the food industry and will be part of this solution. But looking really far ahead, eventually it will be microalgae that will lead the way in terms of sustainable nutrition. And it's something that is very, I mean, it's just beyond the corner, making microalgae a major part of our diet. If only we can solve cost and taste, which are the current main challenges. And this is exactly our mission.
Essential Ingredients is powered by NextGen Chef. NextGen Chef is a movement that supports food and beverage entrepreneurs around the world by fostering a sense of community and providing its members access to mentors and a wealth of resources and guidance. NextGen Chef feeds members with the knowledge they need to build better for you food and beverage businesses so the world can have greater access to healthier food, comprehensive food education, and increased affordability. If you like what you hear on this podcast, continue the conversation or ask new questions on the NextGen Chef app, available in the Apple Store and Google Play. Follow NextGen Chef on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook at NextGen Chef. Join NextGen Chef and let's change the future of the food industry together.
What do you expect, or what do you see as some of the feedback that you're receiving so far when you talk about this with people?
So I was actually initially very surprised by the feedback with food technologists. So we're currently sending samples to many different food companies who already have products on shelves, but plant-based cheese, yogurt, milk, eggs as well. And we're sending them samples so they can increase the protein content and nutritional value of the products without changing any other property, if it's taste, texture, and eventually cost for the end consumer as well. Now, we're sending these samples. Many times I'm sitting with them, with the food technologists when they first test our product. And the first of all, they're very surprised by the color. They expect to see this green powder, which is usually what microalgae is. And it's actually yellowish and white powder, which we provide them, which we don't, I mean, it's without any processing. It's the way our microalgae grow in our systems. As first they see the color and see that it's not green, so it doesn't disrupt the color of the food applications. Then they smell it and say like this is interesting. Doesn't have any special smell. And then they taste it and they're really blown away because it doesn't have any of the taste you would expect from microalgae. I mean, this very sea green flavor. It actually has a mild peanutty flavor. Some people describe it a very mild, like maybe cheesy flavor, and it doesn't leave any aftertaste in your mouth, which is something especially food technologists, which we speak with, they're used to testing soy protein and pea protein, and all of these other proteins which have a very strong negative flavors and aftertaste, and our protein has none of these. So, and initially I was very nervous with these first meetings, and was very surprised by the positive feedback we had. Of course, we have challenges we're still working on and improving, making it a bit wider yet, improving the solubility and all of these properties. It's not we're still in development with our partners, but the initial feedback is amazing.
That's great. So, well, I know that this is just the tip of the iceberg and there's so much more for you to share, but you're going to be at the Future Food Tech Conference, which this is just a prelude to. And this was a special part of a series that we did as part of the prelude for the Future Food Tech Conference. The special series that we did as a way to introduce speakers that will be at the Future Food Tech Conference. So I want to thank you for joining us here today. And I'm curious, what are you most excited about seeing at the Future Food Tech Conference?
And so I'm really looking forward to the conference. I'm looking to meet also to meet partners in the industry. Everyone who will be there at the conference is passionate about solving this huge challenge of how to make our food system healthy, nutritious, and sustainable, and at cost levels which are relevant for the industry. So I'm looking to meet very inspirational people, of course, other colleagues from the industry, partners from large corporates, investors, other startups, and really get additional ideas, see where we can partner with other people, see where we can learn, and maybe help other companies as well. This is the place where all of the people who are really passionate about solving these challenges in the food industry will be for 2 days in a single place. So I'm really looking forward to it.
So, well, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that you'll circle back with us after the conference and let us know what you learned at this conference and some of the things that you see that are coming up in the space and what's new and what's next there for us to keep an eye out on.
Amazing.
Thank you, Yonatan, for joining us.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you so much.
To find out more about this episode of Essential Ingredients and access show notes, check out Next Gen Chef and choose podcast in the menu bar. If you like this episode, head to iTunes or Next Gen Chef's YouTube channel to subscribe. Learn more about Next Gen Chef, the platform that powers this podcast, by checking out our website, or visit us on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn at Next Gen Chef. You can also check out my Instagram at Justine_Reichman. If you have thoughts about this episode or future episode ideas, leave us a comment at Next Gen Chef's YouTube channel or drop an email at team@nextgenchef.com. Thanks for joining us.